this canal, and China will not weaponize this canal.
Yes, sir. Hey, I got a dump over in Douglasville. Yeah, 6500 Malone Road. All right. New address. Massive discovery has been made by Doc Dodge.
Thursday told us that there was an incredible discovery that the Doge team had made. He called it horrible and incredible. Can you reveal that yet? Give us details on what it's about.
There has been a discovery. I hate to leave you hanging on a cliff, but I don't want to get ahead of the president on that. But I can confirm there has been a discovery. It's just not quite yet ready for release.
Wonder what it is. Probably some more theft and shit.
I've been very frustrated with Matt.
She's hitting a wall with the Department of Justice and FBI over the Epstein files. Despite efforts they keep insisting the documents are under review without offering any real updates.
Is that I have tried very hard to obtain the Jeffrey Epstein files. I have been contacting the Department of Justice. I've even chased down the FBI, and I keep getting the same thing. We are reviewing documents. I don't believe.
Turn the headphones off. All right, how about that?
Process has been as good as the JFK rollout and the RFK rollout will be. And so I'm going to continue to put pressure on the DOJ to release that information. Look, there's bad people that haven't been charged for doing
this morning
with underage people.
Can you hear me now?
Has the DOJ given you any timeline on that, Anna?
No. In fact, I haven't really gotten any communication from the DOJ. The one thing I've been very frustrated with, Matt, is that I have tried very hard to obtain the Jeffrey Epstein files. I have been contacting the Department of Justice. I
got home yesterday. I had to fix my do my chicks out there because I still got them in that cage in the coop with the big chickens. So I put them some hay in the cage, and then I run the lamp out there to them so they'd have some heat.
At all, so you're good, don't worry. I don't touch y'all because y'all are not fucking fun, dude. Y'all are not fun. Some of y'all mad I just said you're not fun, okay? Like, I don't make fun of y'all because y'all are sad a lot too and I feel bad. I don't know. Y'all like to be sad, I think. I have a buddy up here, I invited him out. I was like, you want to come out tonight? He's like, I can't, man. Everything going on in the world, it's just hard to even get out of bed. I was like, your dad pays your rent. Like, it's hard to get out of bed because you're in a Tempur-Pedic, brother, okay?
Hey, Buck.
You know?
Hey, I got you something.
$9,000 mattress.
Receipts you tried to get over on me the other day.
You know who the opposite
receipts you tried to get over on me the other day?
But it's rednecks, dude.
Yeah. That's yours. That's food receipts there, Buck.
Be happy as hell.
Yeah, you tried to get
conversations almost exactly like this.
We had them tied up in there.
I just like, Miss Hayes, I haven't seen you in forever. And the rednecks give you the past 6 months with a smile. Just be like, oh, I was on top of the trailer, right, taking the Christmas lights down. I trip, I fall, I break my damn neck, okay? They take me to the hospital. I got a tumor, stage 3. I got to go on chemo in 2 weeks, all right? While I'm at the hospital, I found out my husband was fucking that hussy down the street.
On payday.
You know that bitch at the bank, yeah. And my daughter Abigail, she got a divorce, right? Lost custody of the kids and the divorce. So when they were coming to pick up the kids, they hit the damn dog in the driveway. But I am blessed, man. I'm blessed, you know, I mean. The Lord gave me another day, you know. Sounds like he doesn't like you that much. Doesn't sound like he's a fan.
I get a shit ton of views on them damn chicken videos too. The shorts.
Thank you for indulgence and allowing me to be on this committee. I come in here usually ticked off and I leave in worse condition, so thank you for that. If I ever have a counselor, I'm going to send you the bill.
Yeah, burn that flag.
Good evening, everyone. So behind me, I have the satanic flag of the parasite colony that is called Israel. This was gifted to me by a Jewish person who thought it was funny to send me it. And perhaps they assumed I was going to burn this flag, but I'm not going to burn the flag. I am going to destroy it, but I'm going to destroy it with a Roman gladius to honor my ancestors, the Romans, who destroyed these monsters twice. And the reason I'm going to destroy this flag with this gladius is to honor all the fallen Gentiles who were victims of Jewish supremacy and terrorism. I want to honor President JFK, who was assassinated by the Jews, his brother RFK, who was assassinated by the Jews, and JFK Jr., who was also assassinated by the Jews. I want to honor all the people who were killed on 9/11 by the Jews, and I also want to honor the fallen people of Palestine who are currently being mass murdered by the Jews.
During the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State.
I didn't have to turn over anything. I chose to turn over 55,000 pages of my email, but we turned over everything that was work-related. Every single thing.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands, that were not returned.
What, like with a cloth or something? No.
You get a subpoena, and after getting the subpoena, you delete 33,000 emails, and then you acid wash them.
Everything he just said is absolutely false.
Secretary Clinton said neither she nor anyone else deleted work-related emails from her personal account. Was that true?
The email software was removed. That didn't remove the email content. The effect was that millions of email fragments ended up in the server's unused or slack space. This helped us recover work-related emails that were not among the 30,000 that were produced to state.
Why ain't she locked up? If that bastard wins, we'll all hang from nooses. Boom, there it is, multiple days in a row. Yesterday's Delta hit again. Spine of steel, traders, dollars. We're in control.
Not need other countries as much as other countries need us. And President Trump knows this. He's going to use the leverage of our markets and our country to the advantage of the people he was sworn in to represent. On the other hand, countries like China, who have chosen to retaliate and try to double down on their mistreatment of American workers, are making a mistake. President Trump has a spine of steel, and he will not break, and America will not break under his leadership. He does not need other countries as much as other countries need us. And President...
You have more than you know, steel, tech.
And then on game day, he sees red, and all that competition comes out. He's a fiery guy. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that today.
Looking out blitz. Here's Barkley pushing his way forward and inside the 55, down to about the 42. Big Turk in there, Deshaun Wharton on the tackle. One of the underrated defensive line in the league, probably because he plays next to Chris Jones all the time.
I know. What a great interior between Jones and Wharton.
And VR headset.
He's been a dominant player here for this defense. Very aggressive in the run game and very solid in the pass game as well. He's been a great impactful player for them down the stretch.
35, late pressure, picked up. Hurd slings it high, incomplete, and Goddard took a shot, and there's a penalty.
He's got great.
When he's through, and he's going to go to all these agencies. He's starting on the Department of Education next. I think he'll end up finding that some of our money is being well spent, but he's also going to find that some of our money is being stolen and it's being wasted, and that's an insult to every taxpayer in this country. So I'm going to end like I began. We ought to be giving Mr. Musk a medal. We ought to be thanking him. Maybe nobody else wants to hear about the spending porn, but I can't wait to read the book. I hope he finds all of it and compiles it. I hope Marco Rubio, our new Secretary of State, takes USAID and shakes them by the shoulder and lifts up the good people there and fires the bad people, the people that wasted taxpayer money like this, giving money to terrorist organizations, giving money to organizations that support Hamas. Hope he gets rid of every single one of them. And I think if we listen to Mr. Musk, we can save a lot of money. And I hope he does come over and explain what he's doing. And I'm betting you when he's through, and he's going to go to all these agencies. He's starting on
Men get with women who are not wealthy. I hate to say broke, but women.
You can say broke. You hate to say broke because women don't self-identify as broke. And
that's not broke what it is.
Because he can't take you where you can't afford to take yourself.
Broke is a mentality to me, and that's why.
All right, your mentality and your bank account is broke. Broke is a mentality. She's trying to play word game. Men do not self-identify as broke. They could be got in the club free. Dudes and bought them a drink, roll with their homegirl, and they live with their auntie. Still won't identify themselves as broke.
Do rich men get with women who are not?
The chicken breasts and make this super delicious and easy recipe. To start, in a pot of boiling water, add 1 chicken breast fillet and let cook. Next, cut this chicken into small pieces. Tell me in the comments where you're watching us from so I can thank you for following our recipes. To continue, in a pan add 2 eggs, ½ cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of salt, and stir to combine. Also add ½ cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and stir again. Now add the chicken, ½ cup of grated mozzarella cheese, ½ teaspoon of oregano, and stir. And then pour this mixture into a baking pan. To finish, add ½ cup of zucchini, ½ cup of red bell peppers, ½ cup of grated mozzarella cheese, and bake it in the oven at 390 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. And our recipe is ready. Now all you have to do is enjoy. Look how wonderful it is. You guys, this recipe is very easy to make and delicious. Be sure to make this recipe at home and then come back to tell me how it turned out. We would love to know. I really hope you liked it. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Hell yeah.
If you get time, watch this.
Going to walk away and get on with my life. But then 2 things happened within the space of a month, and I said, I can't let this story go. I just have to know what is really going on with this disease. And one was I met a CIA black ops guy who said in 1962, the weirdest thing he'd ever done in his whole crazy apocalypse now career was dropping poison ticks on Cuban sugarcane workers. That was Operation Mongoose. So that was the first evidence that we had dropped ticks on a foreign country as a bioweapon. And then the other thing is, one of my filmmaker friends went out to Willy Bergdorfer, and in a very long interview, at the very end, he said, yeah, when I investigated the Lyme disease sickness in the late 70s, early 80s, there was another organism there. It wasn't just Lyme that was making people sick. It was, and I was told to cover it up. It was probably a rickettsia. He didn't release all the information, but what he said was confirmed by copies of his lab books and subsequent interviews that I had with him.
Pardon my ignorance, what is the disease you described, the other one? Rickettsia?
So it's a rickettsia. It is the same organism that causes Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and that's the most deadly tick-borne disease in the United States. It also was a germ that was being weaponized by the
that I didn't know how close my own wife was to the Clintons.
That you were married to her.
And I was married to her.
How close was she to the Clintons?
I mean, cell phone away, like, or hey, tell Ye to say this away, or hey, go out and use your platform to push the vaccination away. It was wild that I...
Like, who thought that it was okay to sign a bill to say that we are not allowed to see our children's My Chart or medical records at the age of 12? Who? I'm responsible for
My soul, working all day, overtime hours, bullshit place. I can sit out horrible. You talking to me? Real talk. Drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to. People like me, people like you. I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Wow. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men know the rich men, Lord knows it all. Just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. Your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. Cause the rich men know the rich men. I've been selling my soul.
Working all day, overtime hours.
My child.
Bullshit pay.
Moon are exclusive to us.
So, first of all, there's the extremely bizarre ratio that you
Got the bullshit going on. Hey.
Jobs over the last 20 years, and that's part of the reason why we're in this situation now. And we just have to bring those back. So it's important to bring them back now before the situation gets worse.
But what the question is, what do they do? Do they pass that price on to consumers?
Well, what we've seen is Ford and GM, for example, have announced actually that they're giving discounts. That was the big news last week. Last Thursday, they'd be giving discounts going forward. These companies often are going to figure out how they allocate costs among themselves, and it rarely gets down to the consumer in one-for-one
So the company
basis.
might figure it out. I think
Well, they can approach the Commerce Department to talk about the credit.
Let me go
thing.
smaller. Last week, my office met with Angela Hawkins. She's the founder of Bamboo, a small business in Atlanta that sells bamboo-based sleepwear and sheets, particularly for people with severe and sensitive skin allergies like her husband. Angela's products are made overseas because you can't really find bamboo fabric made in the United States. What should Angela do? Pay the new tax, raise her prices, and risk losing customers? Or is there a process for her to apply for an exclusion from the Trump White House?
So, Senator, the president has said that in connection with this action, he's not going to have exclusions or exemptions beyond what's in the program already for certain products.
So she'll just have to figure it out.
She'll have to work with her business partners and find about sourcing, and they're
she'll have to either raise prices and risk customers.
Cereal and water?
Basically is the answer, right? Because she can't get bamboo here.
It will depend on the tariff rate. Every country has a different rate, and some are...
Feel that way. Hey, Ricky. Yeah, I got it. All right, well, I sent that out. Somebody asked me about one this morning. I sent that address to him. He's going to let me know. All right, let me call you right back. I got a call coming in. All right. Chapman's. It was a lady. She called and asked, was it up here? Her name's Amber. She's with the insurance company. Yeah, Amber. I got the number she called me from.
You get that trailer?
678 287 5441. Yeah, she said she was just wanting to know if it was up here so they could come look at it. I said they ain't got here yet. I just told them it ain't got here yet. No, we really need to look at the truck to see what all we got to do to it. That's what they're telling me.
Okay, so but you gotta have some kind of estimate, an idea, based on the stuff that I had wrote down.
Yeah, but they want to see it because they got to look at it and see how long it's going. They want. No, the guys want to see it. The guys want to see it, see how long it's going to take them to fix it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what time do you close?
6 o'clock.
Okay. And Buck is up there?
Buck's standing right here in the door. He's right here in the door right now.
Okay, because I might be able to bring it up there and just drop it off.
No.
But see, I don't have no way to get home.
Oh, Buck said he knows where you live at. Buck said he'll give you a ride. He knows where you live. Okay, let me know. Okay. Bye-bye. That's Alfreda. She got a bunch of shit done. She needs done to her truck.
Yeah, I forgot who it was. You said,
and she said, she wants to turn it into her insurance. I said, well, you got to get it up here. She sent me a list of shit. I said, well, I had to look. We had to get it up on the ramps, see what's going on up under it.
You got a wreck or something?
Yeah. And it's in another shop in Alabama. But she's trying to run it through her insurance. I said, well, get it up here. We'll give you an estimate. I said, I can't, off this list, I don't know what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
I don't know what all they're going to have to do to it. I said, get it up here. We'll look at it. And then the insurance company called me this morning and said, is the truck there? I said, no. So I emailed her back and said, hey, they're calling about your truck. But she wants to turn it on insurance. So $6,500, what I'm looking at. And I ain't seen the truck yet.
$6,500 on what? What happened?
All kind of shit, man. It's headlight covering and panel, turning steering wheels, backing up, making a noise. Headlights are turned on, but the high and low beam is not engaging properly. Grill's loose and damaged. AC's not working. APU will light up but won't engage.
Grill's loose and damaged. I know that.
Undercarriage of the truck needs to be provided. The insurance will cover the cost. Finally need an estimate. She's saying an estimate between $4,500 and $5,100. So I'm going high.
Well, the grill's been loose. That's from last time. We couldn't find one. Remember?
I thought we got her one.
No. Couldn't find one. I think he did. It was like fucking $500. I think.
Yeah. Y'all epoxied it or something.
That damn. I got it now. There's a plastic weld thing.
Yeah.
It's got little things in it. Took it together.
Yeah. Jose did that, didn't he?
No, Billy.
Billy. All right.
Yeah. I got that machine now.
All right.
It heats up wire.
Yeah.
Pushes in there. And it stays in there.
Are much lower than others, and so
she might even go out of business.
Again.
Let's go even smaller. Early estimates show that President Trump's tariffs will increase the cost of goods by $3,800 for an average American household. Many critical baby goods like cribs and baby gates are produced abroad.
Hey, Stuart.
Or made or have foreign-made components. I went through this not long ago as a parent of young children. For an expecting family in Augusta, Georgia, who may now see a 50% price increase for that stroller or car seat, what is the process for that family to apply for a White House exclusion? I guess if the business owner can't get one, they can't get one either, correct?
So there's not an exclusion process. That's right.
So they would just bear the cost.
Well, I think the studies you're talking about, the economists, they got it wrong in Trump 1. They said there was going to be inflation because of tariffs, and it went down. So when I hear them now saying the same thing, I just don't trust what they're saying. And that's, the fact of history shows that it's not a one-to-one. The highest inflation we ever saw was under Biden for housing and education and healthcare and all of these things. And it was, and I don't know where everybody was then when that was skyrocketing by 20%.
What if their child is potassium deficient and now bananas are more expensive? Last I checked, we don't have the climate to grow bananas in the United States. Who should that family reach out to the White House for an exclusion for that price hike on those bananas?
Well, again, as we've discussed, there's not an exclusion process. I think we've waited too long with the status quo. I know people want the status quo. They want the trading system that Wall Street likes, but we can't have it anymore.
So here you and I agree. Nobody wants the status quo. This economy is not working for working families, for ordinary people. And I would submit that what the president did last week in such a reckless and sudden way is adding even more pressure on these families. Thank you so much.
Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Donald Trump is single-handedly driving this economy off a cliff with no evidence to back him up. He's claimed emergency.
Last night in court down in the Federal District of Florida, Ryan
Chapman's. Hello? Hello?
Mr. Chapman?
Yes, what can I do for you?
Well, this is Victor Osimhen from Business Lending.
What's up, big Victor? Victor, send me some money. Send me some money, Victor.
Yeah, we want to lend some.
That's what I'm talking about. Send me some. It's about 200,000. 200,000 ought to hold me over for a couple of months. 200,000. About 20 years. That's right. How much? I'm gonna spend it. Spend it. Spend in the business. Spend it. Yep. No. Okay, send me some money. Chapman's. What's up, man? You got another one of them trailers?
I got one that's got a little needs a little patching on the roof real quick.
Okay.
If possible. He told me to come over here because I couldn't find a ladder. It's one I just picked up.
Did you tell Buck and them?
No, I just walked over. I parked in the parking lot next door.
Let's go tell them so they can get started on it.
Wesley Ralph, the individual who was involved in the second assassination attempt on President Trump, was given a huge new piece of information. We've got now more evidence on his background, his dealings, and what exactly he was up to down there in the weeks and days prior to the assassination attempt on President Trump. Now, remember, this is the September 15th assassination attempt, not the Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt. This case has yet to actually go to trial. Tried to kill Trump on his golf course, but he was stopped. Secret Service fired shots at him. They missed, or perhaps were deflected by this rudimentary body armor that he had built up in a hide site. And then he vanishes, only later to be apprehended. What we do know about him was that he had extensive ties and travel within the country of Ukraine, and in fact participated in the Ukrainian International Volunteer Force. What was Ralph doing in Ukraine? He was attempting to recruit individuals potentially from Afghanistan and other parts of the world, even Taiwan at one point he talked about, to bring them to the battlefield in Ukraine. We now know, and this is the biggest bombshell, that he attempted to contact a member of the Ukrainian military or someone associated with the Ukrainian military to purchase rocket-propelled grenades, RPGs, or Stinger missiles, known as an anti-aircraft missile. Now, what does this coincide with? Well, this time frame was back in August of 2024. What else did we hear going on in the fall, late summer and fall of 2024? We also heard those scares about President Trump's aircraft, Trump Force One. Members of Trump's campaign team were even using decoy planes during the campaign because they were worried about what? Anti-aircraft missiles. All of this leads to more questions as to who exactly was it that Routh was talking to? Who exactly was it that either didn't report this or put it back forward? And what did the U.S. government know prior to the assassination attempt on September 15th, if this information was out there as early as August? Human Events Daily will never drop this story.
It's only been 3 months with the Biden's economy. Here we go with some bullshit. Can't have them. They can't do nothing right. Trying to drown each other, breaking liquor bottles on here and everything. Jumping on everybody in the damn pack. All right, pull out again.
On penguins. What if I told you have no idea what you're talking about? Did you know that in 2018, when the United States imposed tariffs on China during the 2018 trade war with China, that many Chinese companies took strategic action to relocate and expand those companies into third-party nations in order to avoid or circumvent paying those tariffs, and thus keeping their access to the U.S. market. So here's what went down. To avoid the higher cost that the United States imposed on their tariffs to China for all of their made-in-China products, many Chinese companies moved their manufacturing facilities to third-party countries, where those Chinese products would not be imposed with the tariffs placed on China. And you're going to be surprised to know which countries they moved their production to. Some of these countries include Thailand, Malaysia, India, Vietnam, and Mexico. These companies offer China lower costs for labor, growing their industrial capacity along with favorable trade agreements with the United States, making them more attractive for other companies that wanted to use the made in, whatever they wanted to make them from, more liable in order to bypass the United States tariff. For example, Chinese tech companies began assembling products in Vietnam or Malaysia. Textile and apparel manufacturers moved operations to Bangladesh and Indonesia. Some companies even used transshipment strategies, shipping goods to a third country, changing labels, then exporting them to the United States. And just in case that's not enough, Apple suppliers like Foxconn expanded production in India and Vietnam. GoPro and Samsung shifted operations outside of China. Even automotive parts and furniture companies quietly transition their supply chains to avoid these tariff penalties. So for everybody laughing at, why is he putting a tariff on penguins and on seals? Because these huge nations will go through any means necessary, even occupying other spaces, just to avoid these tariffs. So the United States set a global 10% tariff, even on islands that are non-inhabited, because that's how far these nations will go to not pay their portion.
Chapman.
Hey, Jamie, this is Donnie. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Donnie?
Getting healthy.
Oh.
I was wondering if there was any work.
I don't know.
Come back to work.
Better call me in the morning.
Call you in the morning.
Yep.
About what time?
I usually get up here about 7.
Okay. That ain't no problem.
Whose number is this?
This is my mom's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to come back to work.
Well, call me in the morning.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
You said the other day
Absolutely.
you uncovered some evidence that there was massive Social Security fraud and that arrests were imminent.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that? And what can you tell us about what you've seen politicians do to make massive amounts of money off of the federal government, like Nancy Pelosi? Please.
Yes. So we've encountered. There's really so much for it. It's deciding what should be prosecuted first, because it's such a long list. You have to actually prioritize the list. We convey the list to the Department of Justice. The DOJ has a process that they go through to review and think about it. The wheels of justice turn slowly. In fact, obviously, I have a maniacal sense of urgency. So to me, when I see that terrible fraud has happened, I'm like, why haven't we arrested someone already? But as the saying goes, the wheels of justice turn slowly but surely. And I think probably the person that stole 400,000 Social Security numbers, at least, maybe more, will be arrested hopefully this week. With respect to the non-governmental organizations, these sort of fake NGOs, I think there needs to be a number of arrests in that regard as well, because these are fake charities where mostly Democrats. I don't want to be clear. There's sometimes a little bit of Republican in there, because they sometimes throw the Republicans a bone to say, "Hey, be quiet about this." So that's where you start getting the uniparty thing going on. But it is overwhelmingly to Democrats, and they give give billions of dollars to NGOs run by Democrats that then go through a whole network of additional NGOs. It's a giant money laundering scheme. Really, at this point, I think the word NGO and money laundering is almost synonymous.
Yep. NGOs. That's who was running all them damn illegals up here. That guy gets whipped with a stick. It's not cracking with a stick.
Bam, motherfucker.
Whoop him. See how he straightened up real quick though? Stop blocking traffic. Chapman.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett, just leaving the Doge subcommittee at Marjorie Taylor Greene chairs. She put me on. I always say I go in there ticked off and I leave more ticked off.
Yeah, I need me some Medicare benefits going on. My foot's been hurting me real bad. When I got up this morning to drink me some buttermilk.
We were in the building over here, federal building. It was empty that we supposedly occupy. Huge downtown building, if you can see that. And in the parking lot, there's parking spots down here, which is unheard of. When you look out on the street, people are parked bumper to bumper. But anyway, we were we found out we paid $200,000 for solar powered picnic tables. We're not really sure what the solar power did. It might have had a charging station, I don't know. But the thing was, it was by the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and they bought them during COVID, if you can imagine that, when they're telling everybody else to social distance, rules for thee and not for me kind of thing. And then we were sitting in chairs in there, if you can believe this. It cost $2,700. It cost $1,600. The GSA headquarters, which oversees it, is you're not going to believe this, is 14% occupied. We got to clean this mess up. When I was mayor of Knox County, we got rid of a lot of vacant property that we didn't need, and we sold it. And guess what? It went back on the tax rolls, and that's exactly what needs to happen. You can imagine this multiplied all over our great country. It's in the billions of dollars, and we need to get it back on the tax rolls and pay down our debt. Dadgummit. Anyway, thank y'all for sending me here.
No, that's the thing that's what they've been promoting. I don't know.
That don't make no sense, does it? You want 16? And I can get off line for $6.
Who you got with you? What's over here patching our trailer roof? Do that for you. Yeah.
I'm not Grip Baby. I'm Grip Baby Big Daddy. Miracle, you already know who it is. You know.
What?
I'm not Grip Baby. I'm Grip Baby oldest one in my future. You already know who I'm.
I'm not Grip Baby. I'm Grip Baby's mama, better known as Lady J. I'm Grip Baby. You already know who it is. Grip Baby. I'm not one. You know. Grip Baby in the building. You know.
Struck down a controversial voting rights law. It allowed people who are not U.S. citizens to cast ballots in New York City's local elections. The Court of Appeals just released its decision ruling the law is unconstitutional. Since 2022, about 800,000 non-citizens have been able to vote for mayor, public advocate, comptroller, borough president, and city council members.
If there's no voter ID laws in New York, and they don't check voter IDs, and these 800,000 people were voting in local elections, what's to say they weren't voting in all elections, including our presidential and congressional elections?
What right do they have to
Maybe
vote
there's
in
a
any election?
stopgap that I'm not aware of, but I kind of doubt it.
The highest court has struck down a controversial voting rights law. It allowed people who are not
Other countries need us, and President Trump knows this. He's going to use the leverage of our markets and our country to the advantage of the people he was sworn in to represent. On the other hand, countries like China, who have chosen to retaliate and try to double down on their mistreatment of American workers, are making a mistake. President Trump has a spine of steel. He will not break, and America will not break under his leadership.
One right here you want to share with like all your normies, all your non-believers, the people that call us Q-tards. I love being a Q-tard. I love it. I love it. You know, it gives me hope, especially when you see stuff like this. By the way, Joe Rambo nailed this. Joe, thank you for this. Joey Rambo on Twitter, y'all. Go follow him. Joe, get back to me. I'm excited to do a show with you here soon, brother. Anyway, let's go to post 1069. Dropped on, 4/7/18. That was yesterday's 7-year delta. April 7th. And she nailed it. Steel. Trump has a spine of steel. Coincidence, right? Absolutely not, y'all. What a time to be alive. We are coming to the end of the operation, and soon the world will know about Q. Amen, man. Amen. Buckle up. April showers incoming.
Me for the first time. I made him dinner one night, and he goes, I'm not eating this. This sucks. And I go, yep, you are eating it. And he goes, no, I'm not. And I go, you can eat it now, or you can eat it for breakfast, or I can pack that in your lunch for tomorrow, but that is your next meal. And then he started breathing heavier, so I knew he was mad and nervous, and he looked at me and he Porky Pigged a little bit. He goes, that's bullshit. It's like, have a little trouble getting that one out, did you? And you think you're a man? You want to step outside and see if you're a man? And he goes, yeah. And he walks away from the dinner table, never breaking eye contact, goes to the front door, puts on his Velcro shoes. He goes, are you coming? I said, no, I'm not. I'm going to eat my food because it's warm. And he said, I thought you were going to beat the hell out of me in the front yard. I never said that. What I said was, do you think you're a man? You want to step outside and see if you're a man? What I meant was, you're going to camp in our yard for 1 week and eat only the animals you kill. That way, when your BB gun jams up on the second day, you can come in here and eat the rest of this bullshit. Because it will be waiting for you. I hope that's okay.
Wishing I would have had Velcro shoes for this one. But we will live to fight another day. Hope you had a great Tuesday. Love you.
Velcro shoes. 6 foot elevation. This right here is for Butch. How flat that is out there. You can see it with your eyes, it's flat. Look at that. 200 foot of lake. Should be behind 200 foot of lake. Behind the curve over there, but it's not. Why ain't it, Jamie? Because it's flat. And everybody knows it.
I didn't think that I was just going.
The January 6th committee to members of the United States Congress and to American people, EOC, thought that she was going to be raped, sodomized, and killed at the Capitol on January 6th.
To be killed. I thought other things were going to happen to me as well.
So what sounds like what you're telling me right now is that you didn't only think that you were going to die, you thought you were going to be raped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to be raped. Terrible feeling.
I thought I was.
And that you now understand, having thought about it, is because of your experience.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't think that I was just going to be killed. I thought other things.
Dire wolf has a hell of a dire wolf. They done brought this shit back from extinction. I want to see them do a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The dire wolf species has not been resurrected from extinction. Dallas-based Colossal Bioscience Genetic Engineering Company has simply injected some of the dire wolf's genome into a modern wolf. Mutant hybrid.
Hasn't been heard on planet Earth for more than 10,000 years.
They're saying that this is a dire wolf from the TV show Game of Thrones itself, that it's just a Hollywood representation of that. So it's fantasy on top of fantasy. What it is just a new creation. And none of this is new. 40 years ago in South Korea, you could buy rhesus monkeys that glow in the dark that are part jellyfish. But that's not sexy to people for some reason. 50 years ago, they were able to grow a human ear on a mouse. So my point is, it's way advanced.
Remember when they had that penis on that mouth?
The science from what you're being told and what you're saying. I'm glad that this is coming out because it's just a great way to get people thinking and understanding about what's really going on. You know, the future's been here for a long time. It's just not evenly distributed. And all the amazing technology that's been developed is kept by the establishment, and we're just deployed the systems as weapon systems. But all of this PR about, we can, grow humanoids to get you organs. It's industrial level. It's no big deal. And now all this direwolf stuff, it's all just normalizing this.
I got me some damn honey baked ham last night.
Ever made. The ultimate question here is, how much better are we supposed to do? Let me explain. I'm a 30-year-old man getting married this summer, and my fiance and I want to buy a home, and we're ready for it. Between the two of us, we make well...
No, not at all. Nope. Explain the outfit. It's $29.99 on Amazon. I would recommend buying a small if you're my size. This one's a little too loose for my liking. But, if you want some entertainment, wear this and go to a Home Depot in a sanctuary city like where I live right now, Washington, D.C., and you'll see all the illegals, not all of them, but you can maybe see a lot of them start to run away, and you feel like a group fitness instructor. It's really good.
And you actually think that's funny?
I think it's hilarious, absolutely. What's not funny is them illegally...
There you have it, everybody. One of the worst people I've seen here at CPAC, and that's saying something.
Oh, maybe I wasn't supposed to laugh at that, but I thought it was hilarious, too.
Finally, a growing movement in women's sports to boycott. This is Stephanie Turner, and she's a hero because at a junior women's Olympic qualifying event, Stephanie decided to take a knee when she learned she would be fencing against a man.
I showed y'all this. She got disqualified. She said, I don't know which sword to swing at. He's got a penis.
Pelosi. I have a little bit of a thing with her because her father was hooked up with the mob in Baltimore. Sammy, am I right? He got elected as mayor because we gave him help at that time. Nancy Pelosi has his characteristics. The woman has made $400 to $500 million. She's the best stock trader in the entire world. Okay, we go to jail for that, insider trading. Should they be held accountable for this or should they not? There you go, absolutely. Okay. Nancy Pelosi, I have...
Federal agency more than $4.6 billion on furniture since 2021.
People that has been kicked out of every place we've ever lived for 2,000 years.
We've been kicked out of every place we ever lived, but it ain't our fault.
Every single place.
Y'all just don't like us Jews. Jamie, you ain't a Jew. Yes, I am. I'm a black lesbian Jew from the South.
But that is the inevitable ultimate goal of the Jew in his revolution, and this aim he must pursue. He knows well enough his economics brings no blessing. His is no master people. He is an exploiter.
That playing in the background, that's where they was all expelled from.
Jews are a people of robbers. He has never founded any civilization. Though he has destroyed civilizations by the hundreds, he possesses nothing of his own creation to which he can point. Everything that he has is stolen.
Stolen from white men.
We are a cover as part of this movie. This is a whole
underground economy of children. It's all about to come out. CNBC confirms beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Underground economy of children. It's horrific.
It really is, and that some of it has to do with the policies at the border. And our film isn't political at all, but what really has happened is that a lot of kids came to the border in suburbans from very poor countries like Guatemala, and the families paid $3,000 to $5,000 per kid, and they thought that these children could have a better life here in the United States. And if you go back and watch your own news stuff, there were tents with hundreds of children, and they were all dropped off there, and we welcome them into the United States.
But we need to take care of them and make sure they're protected, and they're not.
Yeah, the problem is that the foster system does weekly and monthly checks on the children to make sure they're okay. And what happened here...
In a normal foster system.
In a foster system, what happened here is we welcome these children in here, and that sponsor families... some of the rules were changed. They don't need to be a parent or an uncle or anything. It could be anybody. And some of the traffickers suggested the sponsor, and the New York Times article says there's homes in Florida and Texas with 15 to 20 kids all sleeping on the floor, not in school, and 15 passenger vans are picking up kids, 15 at a time, and they're cleaning pig slaughterhouses and doing the whole night shift. And we're allowing this all to happen under our noses here in the greatest country of the world, the United States.
It ain't that great.
1996, Nancy Pelosi spoke on the House floor. She urged her colleagues at the time to fight against the status quo trade policies that had contributed to America's trade deficit with China. In fact, Nancy Pelosi said, how far does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit? How many jobs have to be lost for the American workers? How much dangerous proliferation has to exist before members of this House of Representatives will say, I will not endorse the status quo? Those are the words of Nancy Pelosi in 1996. 1996. Well, President Trump is finally answering her call 27 years later. Nancy Pelosi can thank President Trump today for the 104% retaliatory tariff that will be going into effect on China. In 2007, Chuck Schumer spoke of our nation's crippling trade deficit, saying these are the kinds of records the American people don't want us to be breaking. The administration needs to move beyond words, take action now to reverse a trend that threatens our prospects for future economic growth. And Chuck Schumer said that in 2007. Finally, in 2025.
Happen to anybody. So, and if we don't stop it now, the scope will get bigger, and then it will happen to you, and then you'll have a problem with it.
I think also you're conflating legal American citizens with people who came here illegally. We do this all the time in these debates, and I think what the administration is trying to do is be as aggressive as possible at deporting different kinds of populations. One, people who've committed heinous, violent crimes. Number two, people that were violent before they came here. Number three, anyone who came here illegally. I mean, look, I'm sorry, but if you came here illegally, no matter how well-intentioned you were, there's probably a decent chance you're going to be sent back. And that's what the administration clearly communicated to the American people in the election. They overwhelmingly voted for it, and it's not particularly a controversial matter.
That's not fair, and it can happen to anybody.
He's a woke black guy. He's a female. Probably a single-parent home.
Tonight we continue our coverage of the Brooklyn Park plane crash that killed at least one person and destroyed a home. In a statement,
Chapman.
U.S. Bank saying tonight they believe the victim is...
Okay. All right.
Terry Dolan, the vice chair and chief administration officer of that company.
And the reason I was tagged was because of my last video, which was about this man, James Dolan, and what happened at Madison Square Garden the other night. And the question I was asked is, are these two people connected? And that's an interesting question, and I'm going to show you why. You see, this guy, Terry Dolan, is a ghost. And what I mean by that is, for somebody that worked for U.S. Bank for 21 years and had a seat at the table with U.S. Bancorp, there's little to no information you can find out about him. A couple career moves, some personal details, but that's about it. But see, it's those little details that matter. All right, then let's jump back to James Dolan. Runs Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall, New York Rangers, New York Knicks, and his dad, Charles Dolan, creator of HBO as well as Cablevision. Well, see, that little family also has a ghost. His name, Terry Dolan, son of Charles Dolan. You want to know how you can tell they're actively trying to hide somebody? Change your question up a little bit. Now, let's get to the details. The Dolan name is Irish Catholic. In fact, that name has a pretty heavy presence in the Catholic Church. Now, one of the few details you can actually find out about Terry Dolan, he was heavily involved in the Catholic Church. Funny how that works. All right, now that you know those details, it's time to go to work. What was this whole crash? And why is a bank saying that this dude, who was their employee, is the one who was driving it, even though there's no real evidence of that? Remember, Terry here is a part of U.S. Bank. And in case you haven't been paying attention, the banks are exactly who's been on the chopping block lately. And I know a lot of people are paying attention to USAID, but who remembers the PPP loans, the Payment Protection Program that was supposed to help small businesses make it through a struggling time? Well, what a lot of people don't know is, even though this was supposed to be for small businesses, well, the Catholic Church received over $3 billion in taxpayer dollars through this program. And the funny part about that is, U.S. Bank dished out $7 billion all on its own.
And especially considering the SBA, the Small Business Association, was the one who set up the PPP loans, and the recent exposure they've gotten. None of this smells legit to me. But what do I know? Y'all stay safe.
Second like here. That's the Linsky beside her.
The aid thing is so much worse than people realize. Do y'all remember when people were angry at Elon Musk for buying Twitter for $40 billion? Because he could have solved world hunger with that money. Okay? Keep that same energy, okay? We were supposed to have sent like somewhere around $200 billion to Ukraine. Remember? Remember all those little packages? Well, even Zelensky says that only about half of it even got there. So there's $100 billion that's just floating around somewhere. That could have solved world hunger. But your government was so inefficient and so corrupt, and you don't even care about it? In fact, you're more mad that we stopped U.S. aid for a minute and paused it so we can figure out what the flip all of our money's going to, bro? This is not a normal response. Your reaction is being manipulated by the media. It has to be, because you would be mad under any other circumstances. Imagine your dad left you a business that used to make you $100 a month, and now that business is losing you like $10,000 a month. You would go in and go, what's going on? And it's like, pretend it's a mattress company. And you look at the expenditures and you're like, well, these aren't springs and cotton and mattress sheets and things like that. No, we're buying cement in Dubai for 10 times the price that anybody else ever paid. What's going on? And then one of the managers comes up to you and goes, hey, you're not supposed to have access to this warehouse. What are you even doing in here? You would be like, I'm getting scammed so hard, pause everything. Everybody's going to jail, bro. Meanwhile, Maui, North Carolina, and California are all burning down, and we never seem to have enough money for that. Hell, Flint, Michigan's water costs like $1.5 billion, and it would be fixed, bro. We give Ethiopia more than that every year. And then you start looking at all the politicians that have been connected to this thing, and you wonder, why are these guys yelling so much? And you look into how they're receiving their revenue. Oh, it goes out in USA, it does a little cool loop-de-loop dance, and then comes back to their families. Oh, well, Ross, if it was this bad, the news would have told us about it. Nope, because the other thing USAID is funding is all of the freaking media, bro. They are deciding what you guys think, which is why all of them have made you all think that we're the bad guys this whole time. They knew that if we won, we would see this and cut off their funding. There's a movie called The Truman Show with Jim Carrey where basically everything around him is like a controlled environment and things like that. If you found out that all of the same opinions that you've had from the media for the last 10 years were funded and created for you to have those opinions, wouldn't you pump the brakes a little bit and start thinking maybe the right-wingers aren't so bad? We voted for this so we can see all the leeches that are sucking the money out of all of our company, bro. Join the team. Speaking of leeches in your company, if you're a business owner who's making at least 6 figures, but you're not making as much as you think you should be, shoot me a DM. I would love to help you. It's probably a simple problem with your processes or how you're getting leads. Let's get you where you should be.
Checking out today?
You just said that there might be some corruption inside of the government rentals of empty buildings, members of Congress owning those buildings, outright corruption, the head of Doge, Elon Musk, saying today to Chuck Schumer, I'm starting to think that you're getting a piece of the action with all the government fraud. That couldn't possibly be true, could it? Congressman, you must know something about this. Has Elon discovered something about Chuck Schumer,
Chapman.
his family? Right.
He's probably discovered something about everybody. Elon's got that paper trail, and he told us in the meeting, our little private meeting, there's a paper trail and it's going back to Washington, D.C. And dadgummit, somebody better be let out of one of these.
Saying check what? Okay. You talking about in the morning?
Yeah, when in the morning, like when he get ready to come to work, he swing over by my house, and we come to the truck, and he trailed me up to your yard.
Okay.
And you probably need to give him my phone number, and so I know what time he'll be at my house.
All right, I got it.
With that check engine light on, it might shut down on the highway.
All right, I got your number. I'll give it to Buck. I'll get him to call you.
Okay, so I'm not gonna come today. I'm just gonna park the truck
Okay.
and drive it up there tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Buck's out there on top of that trailer.
These buildings in handcuffs, because this is real. This is going on. We've seen it all over. We see it in California with some of the elected officials out there. It's been documented in the past, and nobody's willing to say anything about it or do anything about it. They get reelected, and they get put right back in leadership. And that's why it's so important to have a Justice Department that's not weaponized against the people, but is weaponized against corruption. And we've currently got that. We've just got to hold on to it. And I don't know if we've got the guts or the willpower to do it, because Congress is gutless, Benny. Congress is gutless. Every day we ought to be demanding that these bills move forward, and nobody's doing it. Nobody. I mean, a few of us are, but until these committee chairmen move forward with this stuff and we get out of being compromised, I would suggest to you that we will continue on this downhill slide.
Got a lot of compromise, a lot of Chinese hooks into members of Congress.
I mean, they're in our military installations. They're like, oh, they're flying satellites over. They don't need to fly satellites over. They're running the commissaries. They have access to people's credit cards, social security numbers, all their information. You do not think that the Chinese are making files every day on this stuff. This is just, and what the hell? Why are we letting them in these places? Why are we letting them buy property? They're not going to take it from us, Benny. We're just giving it to them. And how we give it to them is greed. And that's why they're so angry about these tariffs, because Congress is so greedy. We have been bought and sold by lobbyists and the national chambers of commerce. They're coming out now against the tariffs. Well, of course they are. They're in bed with the Chinese. They like slave labor overseas. They don't like the fact that 50%, they love the fact that 50% of America is living paycheck to paycheck, and the other half is doing fairly well. That's just wrong, Benny, and it's wrong because Congress sold them out. Lock, stock, and barrel. Over the course of several years, that's what's happened. That's why China's doing what they're doing. That's why this guy is getting by with what he got by. Ukraine almost being able to take out our president because of greed. The profit motive. I was on CNN and they said, well, Congressman, 60% of the money is being spent back in our country. So it justifies killing people because we're getting, our missile defense companies are getting fat, and their lobbyists are contributing heavily to congressmen and senators' campaigns. I mean, is that what that's? I mean, they just basically just admitted that.
Yeah.
So this is basically eugenics rebranded, and a lot of people that funded eugenics causes of the past, like the Rockefeller family, are big proponents of transhumanism today. There's sort of these mergers, because there's many of them, of Silicon Valley companies and big pharma. They're framing it as healthcare, but it's eugenics being framed as healthcare.
Terrifying.
I mean, it's terrifying. It's crazy. There's a lot of words for it, but ultimately, it has to be stopped. And unfortunately, COVID has set this precedent where it can be mandatory. I mean, well, people like to act like eugenics disappeared, and it hasn't. It's just rebranded. And if you look at the history, it's very clear, and it's very disconcerting.
That's why everything you're seeing that is coming out of policy all over the world, all of the World Economic Forum seems so malthusian.
Look at Canada. The medically assisted death originally was going to be for terminally ill people. Now people are pitching it to homeless people in Canada, saying, "You're too poor to live. Do you want to kill yourself?"
How do we not remember what happened last time?
Well, I think some of these people, you look at the Rockefellers, they funded what happened last time. Yeah. A lot of that money that was used to set up the Nazi eugenics program came from the Rockefeller Foundation, and that's a matter of record. They've tried to go back and say, oh, we're sorry, but they're funding a lot of this stuff now.
Only certain people doing this shit.
Of order, making it legal to call your friends fags and retards if
$2 trillion deficit every year. We're in debt almost $40 trillion. And we also knew that anytime anyone tries to cut anything in Washington, the whole city screams bloody murder. Okay, so the question is just why? Well, now we know. The money is all going to them. It's like round tripping to them. New York Times, getting paid. Politico, getting paid. Bill Kristol, perennial warmonger, getting paid. Ukraine, getting paid. Like 11 out of 12 publications, Ukraine, getting paid.
Incredible.
Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, was saying that he's very popular in Hungary. His political opposition funded by USAID. In Poland, the left-wing political opposition funded by USAID, and on and on and on it goes.
BBC, you wonder why everyone in the UK
paid.
so, yeah.
Like
I couldn't believe the BBC is
left-wing-
getting paid.
Every left-wing organization in the world seems to be getting paid by this slush fund at USAID, which disperses about $50 billion a year. That's $1 billion a week. That's actually a lot of money. And so it makes you wonder, the left in general tries to portray itself as a movement of the people, that it's grassroots. This is the exact opposite. This is AstroTurf. This is basically money coming from the top down out of Washington to fund all of these groups, maybe not even in the United States, like all over the world. So it makes you wonder, what is the real level of local support for these left-wing policies all over the world?
Shut them down. Parasite. They call it over real. Trump's live.
Tell me what you had for breakfast this morning.
Are you going to be difficult? Do I need to call security?
Need to call them on up here.
Very much. Bruce Westerman. Bruce, thank you, Bruce. Bob Latta. Thank you, Bob. Good job. Troy Balderson. Troy, haven't seen you in a long time since that early race. I endorsed him before anyone knew who he was, and he ended up winning. That was another surprise, right? That was a long time ago. Yep, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much, Troy. Carol Miller. Carol, thank you. Carol, West Virginia. Riley Moore. Riley. Hi, Riley. Thanks. Mike Boast. Mike, thank you very much. Troy Downing. Troy, thank you. Oh, he has something. What is it, coal? Is there coal in that bag? Huh? I like it. I'll take it right now. Thank you very much. Hal Rogers. Hal, thank you. Thank you, Hal. Andy Barr. Thank you, Andy. Good luck with everything. I hear good things. Troy Downing. Troy, thank you. Thank you very much, Troy. Hal Rogers. Oops. Harriet Hageman. Harriet. Hi. How are you, Harriet? We just left Harriet. This is one of the finest attorneys you will ever see. I have seen her in action, and she is brutal. I never want her against me, that I can tell you. Dan Muser. Dan. Thank you, Dan. Thanks, Dan. Good job you're doing. Wesley Hunt, my friend, too. Wesley, great. I love your commercial. Pete Sauber. Pete, thank you, Pete. Great hockey player he was, right? Great hockey player. And a great gentleman just broke the record of Wayne Gretzky. The great one is Wayne Gretzky, but we have another great one, too, huh? Just broke the record. It was great. Governor Greg Gianforte.
Chapman.
Greg. Nice seeing you. Good, Greg. Thank you very much, Greg. Bill Lee.
It's not
Bill, thank you very much. Patrick Morrissey, West Virginia, just got elected. Mark Gordon. Mark, thank you. Thank you very much. And we have a lot of others, and I'm
So
in
they
trouble
want
because
to
I can't.
want us to
I
get it
don't
towed?
know. I got 5 or 6 others that I see quickly, but I'm just not going to do it. Don't hold it against me, because we have to get back to the most important people in the room. These people, you know that, right?
Yeah.
So, the energy workers and the coal miners in the
All right, what
area that
address
I'm
are you at?
standing on, and
Text
there's
me
a
the
lot of weight
address.
on this platform, so I don't know what's going to happen. I hope it's structurally designed for you guys. I don't know, but we have just really well-deserving.
I'll call him and see
American
when he can get it.
patriots, and it's such an honor to be here and making such a big move, such a bold move in energy. Because, you know, for years, people would just bemoan this industry and
all right, text me the address.
Industry for absolutely no reason, because with modern technology and all of the other things that we do, it's one of the great forms of energy. That's why other countries, leading countries, are using it, some exclusively. For 4 long years, Joe Biden and congressional Democrats tried to abolish the American coal industry. They did everything in their power while he was awake, which wasn't much, shutting down dozens of coal plants, banning coal leases on federal lands, and putting thousands and thousands of coal miners out of work, destroying their lives, actually, destroying their lives. I'll never forget when I went to West Virginia, which I won by 48 points, I think, right? Big Jim, I won by 48 points. But in the first campaign, where Hillary Clinton was about 4 states too early, and she was talking about how bad coal was and how they were going to teach coal miners how to make widgets and gadgets and technology, which they didn't want to do. They want to mine. One thing I learned about the coal miners, that's what they want to do. You could give them a penthouse on Fifth Avenue and a different kind of a job, and they'd be unhappy. They want to mine coal. That's what they love to do. And she
Hey,
was
Jamie with
gonna put
Chapman.
them in a high-tech industry where you
Pretty
make
good. Ain't you
it
told for me before?
cell phones and things. I don't know. Do you think he'd be good at that? I don't know.
Well, I need a box truck picked up in Conley and brought up here to Donald Lee Hollowell, Bankhead Highway.
She was brutal about 3 weeks before, but then she had a problem. She went to West Virginia looking for votes, and that was a bad.
Yeah, I'm waiting on her to text me the address.
Situation.
I'm waiting on her to text me the address.
Around the table with his family, and he was
All right.
in tears because of what they had
Thank
done
you.
to him and his family. And I hope he's still around, but that man
What's
made
up?
quite an
I see you
impression
done
on
done
the
some more
world
cuttings, huh?
public. And we
Cars?
ended up
Yeah.
Cut 'em all
winning
time, I
in a
guess.
great election.
I don't
We
either.
ended up
You
winning
got-
by
yeah.
a lot. The Democrats' Green New
Like I
Scam
told you,
killed
when we were
jobs and
chopping
sent
for
prices soaring here
scrapping
in
and shit,
America.
that shit
But
was fun
meanwhile,
for a
China
while.
opened
Yeah,
2 coal plants every single week.
He loaded out probably
And,
6
other
containers
countries
last week.
likewise went very strongly back into coal.
What's the price
Some of them
for
never
that?
got off.
I don't know.
Those are the ones
He
that
ships
didn't
them
have
over to
the
Dubai.
problems. The Biden energy policy was to put America last. We want to be
you mean the
last.
front end?
We got to be
Yeah,
last.
the engine, transmission,
I
and
saw
Under
Alex
my
say scrapping.
administration, we're putting America first. It's
Usually
very
with the
simple.
oil prices start coming
America's
down.
always going to be first. On my first day in office, I
Well,
terminated the
oil
Green
went
New
down
Scam.
to $65 a barrel today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trump's playing
I
them tariff
declared
wars with
the
him. He's putting that
national
shit on.
energy
Oh, man, it's
emergency
funny
and
as hell
withdrew
because
from
they
the
all
unfair
bitching about the
one-sided and
goddamn stock
extremely
market.
costly
Right
to
now,
the
the stock
United
market's
States
going
only
back.
Yeah,
Paris
it's going back
Climate
up.
Accord.
Yeah.
It's like,
He knows what he's doing.
You know, under the Paris Climate Accord, we had a terrible situation. We were
the whole way got to see it.
we would
Well,
have
hell,
paid over $1 trillion.
they're bitching about us putting tariffs
Over
on them. They ain't
$1
saying
trillion.
shit about the tariffs that they
Russia
got
was
on
paying
us.
almost
They
nothing.
had on us.
Russia
Yeah, they had on us
92
for years.
standard.
The only one I think's going to be the
China
worst
was
is
paying
Japan.
nothing.
That'll be China.
China didn't kick
China
in
just-
until
Well, Trump put it up to 104% today
Yeah,
on them.
Yeah, I
5
think
years
that's the
ago.
only one's going to give it
So
because
they
they
didn't kick in for many years.
because there's so
India
much
had no
shit coming
standard
here. They
whatsoever.
know.
But we
they
had
So
know
much shit
this
that we
shit.
don't
You could
need.
imagine we
Well,
had to
yeah,
start
but
paying from
they
day
know
one,
that they can
and we had to pay
they can
lots
play
of
our
money.
people, our
We paid for
citizens.
everything. So
Head.
I was not a big fan of
So
the Paris
they think that's
Accord.
got that advantage
And I
to
let
it, but
be
they don't
known
realize
that I
who's in
got
front
out
of
of it
us.
early. Then they went back into it. And now we
He put it on them this morning. He told them yesterday if they didn't take that, because they raised it 34% or something. He said, y'all take that shit off, I'm adding 50% on tomorrow at lunchtime. And they didn't do it, so he jacked it up.
Very badly with coal and with other
people
things.
don't
Now
understand
under
how that
the
shit can be straightened
executive
right back
order
out.
that I will sign in a few moments.
We don't need them though. We don't need them for shit.
Yeah, but the thing is, we got too dependent. All our basically most of our generic drugs
for
come
coal
from
mining on
foreign.
federal lands. And these two
That's
gentlemen
crazy.
are
Why
gonna
would you do that?
job of it. You've already
That's a
started.
chance for them to fuck us up so
And
bad.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
We'll
Kill
end the
hundreds of
government
people.
bias against coal,
just
and we're
that-
going
that
to unlock
in
the
itself
sweeping
is stupid.
authorities.
I mean, there's one thing about other products and stuff like that, but when you come to my medicine,
Yeah.
come on,
To
man.
turbocharge coal
Yeah, they
mining
can put
in
something in
America,
that
they
shit
made it
and just people
impossible
be dropping dead everywhere.
Impossible.
Stuart!
You actually, I know a friend of mine has
What
a
you doing?
plant. He said, you know, it's a shame. I'm ripping it down and I'm replacing it with another form of energy. I won't tell you because it's
No, you
also
gotta
very
take
good,
it
but it's not as
insulin.
powerful as this.
He's diabetic.
He said, you know, the
we're
plant
all
I'm building,
over,
the new plant is
over.
literally half as good.
That's why I used to do
It's
smoke.
no less,
Smoke and drink,
you know,
put
it's
it
not
all.
probably even as good environmentally, but
Yeah.
he said it would produce half the
least
power
I
for
got-
more money, much
have
more
a
money.
connection.
It'll never compete with that beautiful
Then you
plant.
go in, then you go in the store and
Not on the
get.
corner.
Yeah, then you go in the store.
Yeah.
He can open that
You never
plant
dealt with the
very
corner
quickly.
guys. You always
And
had
it's
the
going to
guys,
produce
you
a
know,
lot,
you
but
grew
he
up
was
with the
complaining.
old
He said,
timers
this is
that
so much better.
had
He
that
wasn't
shit
doing
back
that
on
as
him.
politicking me. He was doing that because
He's
that's
changed
what
the
he
mud
felt.
flap out
And
for me
he
too.
knew
but
every form
had
of
the old
energy. We
vacuum.
talked about
I had
that. He
an
knew
old
every
one on my
form
truck
of energy.
All right.
that I picked up.
But our government is going to do something that's
The
very
tool
different.
like that is not
I
small.
don't think even you
Yeah,
two
they
know
just-
about
they
this.
just-
This was my
Couldn't get
idea
the bolt
from
off.
about
Now, what
15
about
minutes
most
before I got up here.
Yeah.
I know leverage.
We did another
gonna
one of y'all trailers
guarantee
this morning. Come in.
Yeah, I saw it
We
going,
have a
something going out or
strong
something.
business
We did,
for many years to come.
Lights
That
and mud flap on it was
coal
one of the
companies
new
and
trailers he
miners
bought.
don't get so excited about their
This is what,
jobs.
that's
and
what he just bought
then
this one, I guess.
should
But
a
he needed it. He
radical
wanted us to do a
left
DOT
liberal
and need brakes all the way
become
around. I told him,
president,
you know,
they end the
I
business
can do it,
right away, and
but I
somebody's
can't
built a
pass it
plant
because
and
it needs
spent
brakes all the way
hundreds of
around.
millions of
And he
dollars
said they
in
was gonna
building
bring
a
it up
plant,
there to
and
their
the
shop and
plant
do
is
the brakes on
going
it.
to be closed because a Democrat got in or a liberal got in. They're opposed to coal, and Republicans are very much for it. Clean coal, and
Yeah.
we're going to give a guarantee that the business will not terminated by the ups and downs of the world of politics. So should
Well,
somebody
you
come
wanna
in
call him, see
to
if he wants to
this
do a DOT
very
on it?
important office
He
and
won't.
say, oh, well, you spent hundreds of millions of dollars and you
Yeah.
guys have given up your life because
But hell, if it's got something else wrong with it, you know, like brakes
you
and
don't have
shit,
a life
he
anymore.
ain't
This
gonna.
is what you know the best. That's not going to happen. We're going to give a guarantee that it's not going to happen, so that if somebody comes in, they cannot change it at a whim. They cannot just going to go. They're going to have to go through hell to close you up. All right, so that's pretty good. We're going to give that in the form of a guarantee that we're writing on right now structurally and from a
We
legal
can social box
standpoint.
them down to Richie Brothers.
So your investments are going to also be
I reckon
protected.
that's the one that.
And you're going to have no reason to be concerned about your future, your life, or your investment if you're a miner, as this great governor was a miner. Actually, he was one of the larger coal miners. He could fit up here very easily, you know, Big Jim. But he was a great success. But they were very, very tough on him, and he did a beautiful job with a beautiful product. Already under our leadership, the Department of
Yeah, see,
Interior
Cork
has
stepped up,
approved
too.
the expansion of
Yeah.
the Spring Creek
Yeah, they
mine
did
in
what they should
Montana,
do.
Yeah, they
supporting
did it this morning or
280
last
coal
night.
mining jobs and unlocking over 40
Yes, sir.
million tons
You
of
want him
coal.
to do a DOT
And there's
inspection
more
on
to
the trailer
come.
or not?
Spring Creek, big one. And there's more to come in the states of Wyoming, Alabama, Utah, North Dakota, and many others.
Sir?
West Virginia, I can't believe they didn't put West Virginia down. It's lucky I mentioned that, right? Can you imagine if I didn't mention West Virginia? I would have been in big trouble. They didn't mark it down here.
Okay.
Good to have a
I got you.
president like that that can pick that up, right? You think
Sir?
Joe Biden would have picked that up? I don't think so. Gee, they didn't mention West Virginia. I don't think so. I don't think he'd be standing up here either. The value of untapped coal in our country is 100 times greater than the value of all the gold at Fort Knox. And we're going to unleash it and make America rich and powerful again.
You're going to get loaded?
Under this order, I'm also directing Secretary Wright to use billions of dollars in federal funding to invest in the next generation of coal technology, which is an amazing technology in terms of getting the full potential of coal and also doing it a very clean, environmental way. Pound for pound, coal is the single most reliable, durable, secure, and powerful form of energy there is on Earth today.
Solid.
So, big statement. You never hear those statements. You've never heard that before from a politician, have you? Well, maybe from that politician, but not from not too many. But that's the way it is. I say it again. Pound for pound, coal is the single most reliable, durable, secure, and powerful form of energy. It's cheap, incredibly efficient, high density, and it's almost indestructible. You could drop a bomb on it, and it's going to be there for you to use the next day, which you can't say with any other form of energy. Virtually indestructible. Most importantly, we have more of it here in America than anywhere else on Earth. We have more coal than any other country. You go to Australia, they have fantastic amounts of coal. You know who they sell it to? China. They sell it to China. They sell a lot of it to China. But we have more than anywhere else on Earth.
Hello. Hey. Javier, what's up? Pretty good. What you doing? Well, that's all right. What you got?
He told me to call you to pay your work order, 37340.
How you gonna pay it with a credit card? Yeah. 248.45.
Yeah, that's the one.
All right.
Yeah, it is nice having somebody to be able to go to now.
So we also have more liquid gold than anywhere on Earth. So we're really an energy behemoth, but we're unleashing that also. That's going to be another part. But I didn't even want to mention that. It's not down here because I didn't want to mention today is about clean, beautiful coal. So I'm going to give this to you. This big guy. Should I give it to him? For example, we believe it's possible to extract enormous amounts of critical minerals and rare earths, which you know we need for technology and high technology in the process of coal mining, making in America the mineral superpower of the world, actually. In addition, I'm instructing the Department of Justice to identify and fight every single unconstitutional state or local regulation that's putting our coal miners out of business.
I'll shoot you an invoice on this. I appreciate it,
We're
Javier.
withdrawing all of those objections from our government today. It's all being withdrawn. So all of you people that have been fighting for your lives, we are withdrawing all of that. Today we have excellent lawyers. Excellent. Have you noticed that lots of law firms have been signing up with Trump? $100 million, another $100 million.
That's all
for
he does everything on the computer.
Damages that they've done, but they give you $100 million and then they announce that. But we have done nothing wrong, and I agree they've done nothing wrong. But what the hell? They give me a lot of money considering they've done nothing wrong.
Chapman.
And we'll use some of those people, some of those great firms. They are great firms too. They just had a bad moment.
What?
But we're going to use some of those firms to work with you on your leasing and your other things, and
back to back.
They'll do a great job. I think they're going to do a fantastic job. And for those of
back
you
to
that
back.
want to know the tariffs, you've been hearing about tariffs. We're taking in almost $2 billion a day in tariffs. $2 billion a day, and we're doing very well. and we're doing very well in making, I call them tailored deals, not off the rack. These are tailored, highly tailored deals. Right now, Japan is flying here to make a deal. South Korea is flying here to make a deal, and others are flying here. I mean, my only problem is I'm not sure I have enough. We're going to have to use those great law firms, I think, to help us with that. But we're going to probably do that, actually. We're going to use them. We're getting them for the right price.
Yeah, they just pissed off because he's finding all this waste and fraud and shit. They just pissed off because these
countries
catches
coming
caught
in that
them.
want to make deals.
And showing the world.
I told them about making those deals 2 years ago, and 3 years ago, and 5 years ago. They'd be laughing at us. Now they're all signing up, Mike, you know that. So it's going to be a great thing, but we're think of that $2 billion a day. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money even in the coal business. It's a lot of money. And
because most people that buy them cars are damn Democrats.
You see it all along, and it's so that whole situation that is somewhat explosive. If we didn't do that, we wouldn't be talking the way we're talking.
These people that are out there tearing these cars up and shit, they should be
sometimes you
looking
have
at
to mix
5
it
to
up a
20
little
years
bit,
in
but we've
prison.
had great consideration. We've had talks with many
security.
They all want to come in. Our problem is can't see that
built
many
in
that
security
fast.
on them damn things.
But we don't have to, because as you know, the tariffs are on, and the money is pouring in at a level that we've never seen before. And it's going to be great for us. It's going to be great for other countries. We've been ripped off and abused by countries for many years with the tariff situation. They've used tariffs against us, and we didn't use tariffs against them in any way. I mean, we just
that shows they don't have no moral
proportion. And
he's got something.
So we are doing it now. We have tariffs on cars, tariffs on lumber, tariffs on steel and aluminum. Steel plants are going up because of it all over the country. We have 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. The steel, I think the steel workers like me even more than the coal miners like me. I'm pretty sure that that's true.
I know they said that they just found something that's going to be pretty big. They haven't come out and said what they found, what that Doge group found.
If I didn't do that, and now
it's supposed to be pretty big.
Upped it. And
this was something he found. Supposed to be
not only are we taking in a lot of money, but we're protecting our workers, our steel workers. We're protecting our steel industry.
Chapman.
And one thing you know, that steel and things like steel you need, because you need it from a defense standpoint. You need steel for your tanks and your planes and your everything.
You probably texted the office number. You texted my cell number.
Not having, but others you need, and steel is one you need. So I want to let you know that's in full force and effect. And
yeah, I'm on my cell, but
I spoke to,
I don't have no text message from you, so you probably sent it to the office number.
Over the last few days, and they're all coming in to build plants in the United States.
You got to text it to my number, 678.
Because if you build them in the United States, you have no tariffs to pay. There are no tariffs to pay, zero. If you build them outside using outside labor,
2039
businesses, and you send your product in, you have to pay a price for that, and they will be having tariffs, as you know.
678-410.
This has been
2039.
Something used against us for many years by other countries.
All right,
China in particular, but others, not just China, others, and taken advantage of us, ripped us off.
I will.
Left us for dead, frankly.
Right,
and I believe if I didn't become your president, I believe that
we
this
gotta
country
go.
would have had problems.
We got to tow her truck
like
up
they've
here.
Never had before.
She don't break
it. It was
mess it all
serious
up.
damage in so many other ways. Not only the border where people came rushing into our country from prisons and jails and mental institutions, murderers,
you got to bring it up here so I can see
drug
it.
dealers.
She's gonna drive it.
And
she said it was
some vicious
throwing up a code on there, and she
11,088 murderers came into our country. We have to get them out. We're getting them out. 11,088.
She talked to her insurance people, and they're gonna pay the tow bill. So
committed murder on more than two people. And this is what they allowed into our country with their open border policy of lunacy.
I've been working with this lady for probably 15 years.
You today, we're taking care of that. I want to thank Christy Nome and
she lives over in Common.
Tom Homan for doing an unbelievable job. The whole thing is what the job they're doing is incredible. It's really an unforced error. It should have never happened. that we have to be spending such time and resources.
All right, buddy. Well, I'll
Mr.
catch you
Senator,
next time.
All right.
I'm gonna go sit with trouble
getting
too.
people out of our country.
Stay safe out there, man.
You need me signing anything, or we
Mental
good?
No, we good.
institutions, insane asylums were opened
All right,
up
thank you, sir.
and emptied into our country. Prisons from all over the world, not just South America. Prisons from, think of this, from Africa, the Congo. A lot of people from the Congo. Prisons in the Congo. Prisons from Asia, from all over, were opened up. And I knew that when I heard it was an open border policy. I said, if you do that, every country is going to be dumping people that they don't want into our country, and that's what's happened. But we're cleaning it out. And the courts, we had a good decision, as you know, from the Supreme Court allowing us to do that. We have judges that didn't want us to do it. We have judges that wanted the very evil gang members from Trendy or
I just
Rockwell
blocked you in my phone. This is
MS-13.
my cell number.
They didn't want them taken out of the country and put in very powerful
Okay.
prisons. When you look, you've all seen those clips, pretty amazing clips. But I want to thank El Salvador. They've
Yeah,
done
well,
an
I'm
incredible
gonna let him
job.
know. I done talked to him. He told me to
those
send him the
cases,
address, and he'll let me know when he can get it.
Judges that are out of control that say, "Oh, bring them back,
All right.
bring them back." We don't want them back.
Bye-bye.
We don't want them back. Can you imagine? You spend all of that.
Yeah,
time,
Robbie, I had to
energy,
go
and money
last night. I had to go in
on
there,
getting 'em out, and then
and I put there because they're in a. I got them in a cage in the pen with the big chickens to get them acclimated, so they can talk to each other and. But Joyce said, "Hey, it's gonna get cold tonight," so I went out there and run the heat lamp to them, and I put some hay in there. The cage is sitting on hay, but I put them some hay in there because yesterday morning when I went out there, they were all huddled up together, but it wasn't really that cold. She said it's gonna get cold, so I run that heat lamp in there to them. And this morning I went out there, and one of the Rhode Island Reds was sitting beside them, but Reagan getting some of that heat too. But yeah, I'm a chicken tender. Hot and spicy chicken tender.
Sits there, local judge who sits there, federal judges sit there and says, no, bring them back. One was brought back, or they want to bring him back because
Fire
he wasn't
department.
a member of Trendy.
That's a ladder fire truck.
Just as bad.
There's
So they
a fire station right
misidentified
down the
him.
road
It
here.
sounds to me like he was a member of MS-13, so they want him brought back because he wasn't treated properly. It's we got to be smart. Our country's got to get a lot smarter than it is, but we have to give the people that are empowered to do this kind of work, and it's not pleasant work. We have to give them. We have to give them the option of making our country great again, and that's what they're doing, and I have great respect for those people. And they're doing it out of love. They could get a much easier job. They're doing it out of love for our country. It's so important. Just like I'm doing this with Cole today for love for our country. Earlier this afternoon, I signed another executive order to strengthen our electric grid by ensuring that coal-fired power plants are always available to meet surging demand for electricity. Unlike wind and solar, coal plants can run 24 hours a day in rain, sleet, or snow, and you will not be subject to the incredible blackout situation that's taking place in California, where they have blackouts all the time. It's an amazing thing with California. They have blackouts and brownouts at levels that nobody's ever seen before, and all they want to do is keep going the way they're going, and they're doing a very poor job. As you probably heard, I released billions of gallons of water going in from upstate California, from the most northern parts of California. Probably comes in from Canada to a certain extent. Thank you very much, Canada. We appreciate it. And I released it. It was being sent out to the Pacific Ocean. I've been working on Gavin and some of the politicians for years, and they didn't want to do that because they were protecting a smelt, a fish that was perhaps in trouble, but it's not unique to that area. And because of that, you had numbers, you had fires. Nobody's ever seen anything like what happened. Think of what it would have been like if you had fire hydrants that had water in them, if you had sprinkler systems in houses. A lot of these luxury houses where they had beautiful sprinkler systems, there was no water. They had no water to put out the fires. Water is very good for putting out fires. You know, they just didn't learn it. But we now have millions of gallons, billions actually, they say, of gallons of water pouring into California from the Pacific Northwest. I guess they would say mostly Pacific Northwest, but other parts of the northern sections of California and beyond. And it's a beautiful thing to see. I saw a picture of it this morning. The water's just flowing down there. I said, why didn't they do this? I told them to do it my first term. I said, do it. And I don't know. I think the second term is just more powerful. They do it. When I say do it, they do it, right? And we actually had to do some pretty strong things to get them to open it up. They had, think of this, they had all that water pouring out right into the Pacific. They had a big valve, like a giant valve as big as this room, and they turned the valve. It takes 1 day to turn it, and they face it toward the Pacific Ocean, and the water, all that was coming down, all millions and millions of gallons coming down, they put it into the Pacific Ocean, which for the Pacific Ocean is like a drop of water. But for California...
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's Jamie up here at Chapman.
What's up, buddy?
I needs to get a price on getting a box truck towed up here.
All right. Where you trying to tow it from?
It's down in Conley. Yeah.
What size box truck is it?
Hold on, let me ask her.
One second, hold on. Send us towing.
It's a 24-foot box truck. Hello?
It would have been unbelievable. Hey. So we did it. I'm very proud of the fact that we did it. We did that against a lot of heat and a lot of environmental nonsense. From now on, we'll ensure that our nation's critically...
It's a 2016 Volvo VNL.
needed coal plants as an example.
Hey, Robert. It's a 24-foot box truck. It's unloaded. $400? All right. You want me to shoot you the address? I'll shoot you the address where it's at, all right? When do you think you can get it up here? Okay, I'll shoot you the address. All right. Ricky. Huh? Oh, somebody called me about some dump. Yeah, he said he's gonna hit me back and let me know. All right. Yeah, I texted him the address. He said he'd let me know. And then I okay. You got some dirt? All right, I got somebody looking for some dirt. Good dirt. All right. Well, he was asking me about dirt. The guy wanted to dump dirt. I think it was him. Hold on. Oh, he's looking for some dirt in Smyrna. I don't know. All right, let me know. All right. I need 17 belt replaced for 2012 Ram 350.
Will remain online and fully operational. They're always going to be operational. And again, we're going to have guarantees that government cannot close them down, close you down, and destroy your lives. To that end, I'm also instructing Secretary Wright to save the Choi coal plant in Arizona, big plant, which has been slated for destruction. We're going to keep those coal miners on the job. I'm going to tell them to just remain calm, because we're going to have that plant opening and burning the clean coal, beautiful clean coal, in a very short period of time. You know all about that, right? That's a big one. As part of our historic deregulatory efforts this afternoon, I'm also granting immediate relief to 47 companies operating 66 coal plants, very big ones all over the country, recusing and making them available for coal production almost in the immediate future. But we're going to be crushing Biden-era environmental restrictions. These are restrictions that made it impossible to do anything having to do, frankly, with energy, even beyond coal. It's really beyond even coal. We have clean air, we have clean water, and now we have clean coal. And at the same time, we're gonna do other things and other forms of technology and also energy.
Hey, Buck.
Like our country has
you
never
play
really
some
seen
Buck.
before.
You play some mud flap on that? You play some mud flap?
All sorts of restrictions having to do with the Green New Scam, which, by the way, was devised by somebody that never even studied. You know that they never even studied anything to do with the environment.
What you do with him?
It's a young congresswoman.
So you just passed the roof and did the mud flap?
Well, I charged my I guess we only have. Well, actually, we should have all been gone because they gave us only a few years left.
You got to get some more.
Right, Greg?
Yeah. Where are you getting that from? Home Depot?
We're all going to be gone. No, what they have to worry about is the nuclear heat. They don't have to worry about environmental heat. They have to worry about nuclear heat.
2
and
o'clock.
we're smart. We're working on that right now with others
time?
having to
2
do
o'clock.
with
We
Iran
left at 2.
and some other countries, but that's the.
Hey, it's
that's
Jamie
the
with
heat
Chapman.
you're
Give me a
gonna have
call
to worry
back.
about.
678-410-2039. 678-410-2039.
The air is getting warmer. The ocean will rise 1/4 of an inch within the next 500
Where the hell
to
are y'all at?
600 years.
I'm here. We've been
Giving you a little bit more.
Buck's
water
looking for
from
y'all.
the They say this is going to. These
Buck's
guys
looking
can
for
handle
y'all.
that. The nuclear we have a bigger problem with, right? So we're going to.
He's on top of that trailer out there.
We're going to make sure that that's safe. With us
Dog's
today
gonna
are
have to
some
go out
of
there and
the
pull him off.
amazing workers who will benefit from these policies, the policies that we're doing and so proud of doing, including Jeff Crow, a miner from West Virginia. Jeff, would you come up and say a few words?
Repair tape, 50 foot.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I want to first thank you for having me and my fellow miners here. It is an honor and a privilege to be a part of today's events.
Hey, is that guy got? Is he
This
gone?
past November, that America clearly spoke about what we wanted for our country. It is reassuring for Americans to have a president in office who will truly put the United States of America above all else.
Yeah, I thought you were thinking about.
With putting America first, you have
Hey,
spoken
there's
numerous
a ham
times about
sandwich in
energy
here.
independence. I believe most don't
Chuck,
understand the importance
look,
of that.
that's a
Coal
that's
is
a
one of
honey
the
baked
major
ham. I
factors
stopped
in
last
energy
night, got me some honey baked ham.
and accounts for a large portion of America's energy.
No, that's
Coal
Bill.
is one of the most reliable and cheapest forms of electricity.
All right, come on, get it, George.
For too long, coal has been a dirty word that most are
Come on
afraid
here,
to
Jody.
speak about. Most of those that would speak negatively about coal do so from an uneducated standpoint. Many are unaware of the engineering and technology that are used in today's mining to create a
Bill
clean, energy-efficient product.
It's gonna be
All
colder
this is
tonight.
done
How
using
cold?
the safest practices in the industry.
I might have to bring him back in the house. I don't want to bring him back in the house though.
Coal provides approximately 50,000 jobs for those that work in the mines and the businesses that support them. It
I don't
also
wanna bring- I
accounts
don't wanna
for
bring
over
'em back in the
50%
house.
of West Virginia's export product. To name a few, we employ engineers,
All right.
teachers,
I gotta pee. Y'all watch this.
therapists, accountants, truck drivers, high school and college graduates. All of these occupations and graduates have turned to the coal industry to provide a better way of life for them and their families. Everyone in our industry works long hours and days to provide a reliable energy product, and too many times it goes unnoticed. I've personally worked in the industry for 23 years. I choose to do this daily to provide my wife and children with the life that they deserve. Prior administrations have done all they could to eliminate the coal industry. Sorry, 1 second, I'm getting there. In my opinion, they have done so with an unethical and uneducated approach. But we are still strong, we are still here, and we are still needed in order to make America great again. Having a president and an administration that understands the need and importance of coal is more than appreciated. It gives the industry a form of reassurance to know that we have a president in place that supports us. For my family, to the over 3,000 employees of ACNR, and for the coal companies, miners, and businesses throughout our great country that rely on the coal industry, we say thank you for your continued support. I personally thank you for what you do for our country and for our industry. It has been my pleasure to be here today to help you usher in the golden age of America. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
You did a good job. Let me have that speech. I want to have that. I had a couple of good lines in there when I came on. Now, actually, what I want to do, I'm going to sign it for you because I mean, he worked hard. Look at it, and look how good his eyes must be to read that.
I lost it once.
hopefully you can sell it tonight for a lot of money. That's great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jeff. And also with us is Tony Campbell of the East Kentucky Power Cooperative. And Tony's quite a gentleman and very respected in the industry. Come on up, Tony. Thank you.
Mr. President, on behalf of East Kentucky Power Cooperative, the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association, and electric cooperatives across this America, thank you for your leadership to restore American energy dominance. Electric co-ops keep the lights on for 42 million Americans across 56% of the land mass. We are owned by the communities and businesses we serve and provide electricity to growing communities, new data centers, and manufacturing plants. Mr. President, electric co-ops are powering America, and we are proud to partner with you and your administration to power America into the future. Our electric cooperatives in Kentucky understands the importance of reliable, affordable, and American-made energy, especially coal and natural gas. Coal fuels most of the electricity generated by our cooperative. America must keep coal plants open and running to ensure reliable electricity when we need it most. To meet growing demand over the next decade and ensure fuel security, America will need more always available electric generation power, such as coal. And we want to recognize the hardworking American men, women that support our mission. To all America's line workers, our coal miners, thank you for your dedicated service to our country. Affordable and reliable electricity is a cornerstone of our economy, especially American manufacturing. However, too many government leaders have pushed policies that have made our electric grid significantly less reliable and our energy too expensive. That begins to change now. Your actions today will prevent the premature closing of essential power plants and help us meet tomorrow's energy needs. And they will help us continue to deliver reliable, safe, and affordable electricity. Mr. President, thank you in particular for providing immediate, much-needed relief from the Biden EPA regulations that would force the shutdown of critical coal units. Finally, I want to say congratulations on the all-star energy team you've assembled. Electric co-ops have already been working with Secretaries Bergrum, Wright, and Rollins, and Administrator Zeldin, and we are excited for all we can accomplish together. Mr. President, thank you again for your actions today and for your support for the electric cooperatives as we work to keep the lights on in America.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much, Tony. Appreciate it. Every day under the Trump administration, we will continue to lower costs for American families, create jobs for American workers, and very importantly, unlock unlimited amounts of affordable American energy, including, as I said, and I'll say for the last time, beautiful, clean coal. Our country is blessed. Our country is blessed with the most abundant natural resources on earth, as nobody has what we have. And we're going to use it, too. We're going to use it in a very responsible way. Together, we're going to tap that magnificent potential to give our people the glorious future that they deserve, better than they've ever had in the past. I mean, they had a good future. If you look 20 years ago, they thought they had a good future. It was ripped away from them, torn away from them with nonsense. And we're not going to let that happen. This is going to be a glorious future for them. And I want to thank everybody for being here. And I want to thank you and you and you and that whole group and our senators, by the way, and our great congressmen and women for being here in such a large number, because you've been helping us make these decisions. These are big decisions, and this is a really big one. And this is one that's going to be, I think we're going to look back and with great pride at what we've done today, not just in putting people to work, but at really reawakening our country. And thank you very much, and thank you all for being here. Thank you very much.
Mr. President?
Yes, his first one.
We have 4 items prepared for your signature this afternoon, sir. The first of these executive orders it may be one of the most significant executive orders of your administration thus far. This directs all departments and agencies of the federal government to end all discriminatory policies against the coal industry. This ends the leasing moratorium that prevents new coal projects on federal land, and it's going to accelerate all permitting and funding for new coal projects to allow the coal industry to flourish under your leadership, sir.
That's great. Thank you. Okay.
Sir, there are currently dozens of coal plants in America that are in imminent danger of being forced to close based on unscientific and unrealistic policies enacted by the Biden administration. What we're going to do is essentially impose a moratorium on those policies taking effect to protect coal plants that are currently operating, to ensure that they're able to continue producing power and continue providing jobs to Americans in the coal industry.
Right. Thank you very much.
Sir, you've made grid reliability and security a key focus of this administration. This executive order is going to promote grid security and reliability by ensuring in part that our grid policies are focused on secure and effective energy production and energy transmission, as opposed to woke policies that discriminate against secure sources of power like coal and other fossil fuels. Lastly, sir, one of the biggest problems we have in this space is Democrat states, radical leftist states, enacting policies and enacting an agenda that discriminates against coal, against secure sources of energy. Many of these policies are unconstitutional and illegal, and with this executive order, you're going to be instructing your Department of Justice to vigorously pursue and investigate these state policies that we believe are illegal or unconstitutional.
Good. Thank you very much. Great job. He went to Harvard when Harvard was good. It was a while ago. Let's hand these off to the guy.
Harris, sir. All right there, fellas. All right there, fellas. We'll holler at y'all when we're going to see them, Jamie. We will holler at y'all later.
Saint Nick with a wrench in hand, fixing up his big old ride. Semi-truck, not slave.
This smug liberal tried a radical stunt to get Charlie Kirk banned when she realized she was getting absolutely destroyed.
Do you feel proud of yourself for baiting college kids who are...
Also, you don't want to make no extra money? Hey, it's fine on me. It saves me money. Hey, I'm gone. We ain't talking nothing. Your ass ain't. You was late this morning?
I wasn't late this morning.
You was?
I was here before 9 o'clock. Yes, I was.
Who?
I was.
No.
Oh, yeah, I was.
Well, look, this is the other part of that deal.
What is it?
Is what I say needs to be done needs to be done.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okie dokie. Okay.
Well, we'll see.
Yo, because I got one there.
What's going on? This smug
What he needs to do is get his ass. He ain't thirsty, Bill. There's water in there.